Hey guys, this is the Crypto Jarhead. This video we're going to be looking at withdrawing 100% of your interest every day versus reinvesting 25 and withdrawing 75%. I figured the best way to do this, because the memo pad format that I usually put my little plans out on, it would be really long and just a lot of numbers being thrown out. So I'm going to use the high up money calculator. Now, I don't like to believe these things to an extent because, down here, you'll see. Oh, okay. It had a default one set up for $4,600, 1.9% interest, withdraw half, reinvest half. But let's see here. Okay, let's just do 100%. This is why I don't typically believe these things, right? Now on the plus side, so all right, how do I phrase this? Results based on $10,000 investment starting today for 6 months at 1.2% interest, reinvesting 100%. It says that on, the 180th day, you'll have an accumulated profit total of $75,603.66. That's a lie, though, because when you reinvest these things, typically you are not reinvesting back into the same principal of the loan. You are actually starting a whole new loan for, whatever your interest was that day, $120. I think is the daily interest for 10 grand at 1.2%. But, so the point is, on day 180, you might get the capital release of $10,000. And then you've got, 180 loans for $120 each. Like that's the way it works in most platforms. If it was an actual, like this number would be correct. The $75,000 number would be correct if it was adding to the $10,000 thing. But that's just not the way it typically works in practice. So anyway, let's see here. But this calculator can be used to illustrate my points here. Okay, so we're going to redo this calculation saying that you are not reinvesting any of it. And so it goes ahead and tells you, and this math is pretty correct. After 6 months, you'll receive around $21,600. So at 1.2%, you're getting about a third of your investment of your principal every month if you're doing just 1.2%. Now that's not factoring in any bonus interest. I got that 1.2 just by averaging, kind of like averaging what Thorn has been producing since they launched their long-term staking, and that seems to be about the average. It's pretty close. I haven't actually totaled them up and gotten a true average. Just looking at it, that looks pretty close. So close enough for me to kind of base, this is what I think I can really depend on, based off of their track record so far. So anyway, and a third of $10,000 would be $3 grand, about $3,500 or so a month, which would get you pretty darn close to $21,600, right? So there's option A, reinvesting nothing, just pulling it all out. If it lasts 6 months, instead of selling for $10,000, starting a loan and pulling out your interest every day, would turn that into $21,600. And it tells you right here, your break-even point is almost 3 months into it. About 11 weeks or so is when you would break even with your 10 grand. And after that, it would all be extra profit from there, right? Let's see here. Oh, and it's adding in your capital release there. So your total principal deposit plus profit over 180 days would be $31,600 instead of 10 grand. So you would triple your money if it lasted for 6 months because you're getting that initial 10 grand back anyway. But that's assuming that you're going to get a capital release, and the Oracle says he's never gotten a capital release. I've never gotten a capital release, but most of my investing so far has been in like cloud mining and stuff like that, which you never, capital release just doesn't really happen with that. So there is the numbers for the just straight up withdrawing 100% of your money every day. So now let's go ahead and kick this up to a 25% and see what happens here. Okay, so it's going to add about $7,400 over the life of the loan that you are withdrawing, right? And so now your break-even point is 75 days. That's about 2.5 months. So after about 2.5 months, you will break even on your initial $10,000 investment. The one thing this is not really showing, maybe if we can do view payment schedule, maybe that'll show us what I need. Here we go. Okay, so payment schedule, right? Let's go back $10,000. Okay, so day one, the interest payment was $120. I was spot on with my little head math on how much interest you would get. And as you can see over here, they have reinvested 25%, which would be $30, right? And you see the interest going up every day. So you're pulling out 90 with this plan versus 120, right? And so we're going to go down and we're going to look for somewhere around 160 or so. Okay, so on day 98 would be the 160 mark, because 160 divided by 4 is $40. So it looks like on day 98, your interest payments that you're withdrawing every day will about break even with what you had been pulling out previously. Like if you had just been doing the straight $120 a day, after about 100 days, you'll be pulling out $120 back into your pocket again. And so then after that, you have 80 days where you are actually pulling more money out of your pocket every day. Like here's 205. So by the end of it, you'll be pulling out $150 every day versus 120. So doing the reinvestment, the 25 and 75 reinvestment, you are still withdrawing some of this money and putting it in your pocket. So you're still, you're not just leaving money on the dashboard, but what you're doing is you are increasing your interest payment. And you can see here, looks like about every few days it jumps up $1 for the first month or so. And then after that, let's see, there's day 30. After that, it's, a lot of jumps up $1 every other day, and it continues to accelerate. As you can see down here, 3 months into it, it's still increasing by about $1 every other day. So the bottom line is that, if it lasts for the full 6 months, which I'm expecting Thorn to last about that long. I think that is a good realistic time frame for Thorn. Assuming it's not all just one giant elaborate exit scam, which would be insane. But just with the way these guys have handled everything that has happened in the past month and a half, I think that they are going to try to make a sustainable platform. I don't think that currently there is a such thing as a sustainable lending platform. But I think Thorn's going to come pretty close. And remember, BitConnect lasted for about 2 years. I think it was a little less than 2 years was their total runtime before they ultimately failed. So it can be done. More than 6 months is entirely possible, right? But that is that. Now let's go ahead and run the numbers just because the calculator is here. Why not? At 1.85, that's doing the 1.5% that they promised that they were hit, plus the bonus interest from having, oh, shoot. And let's go ahead and do a $300,000 loan. Okay. Now, this is where it gets pretty crazy. They're saying that the accumulated profit over 180 days with 25% compounded is 1.5 million for a total principal of 1.8 million. So that's an insane amount of money if it lasts for the 6 months, obviously. And it says here that the break-even point is 49 days. So as you put more money into it, it gets less risky doing the 75% and 25%. So what that 49 days means is instead of breaking even at about 2 months, you're going to break even about 1.5, a little more than 1.5. So, halfway through that third week in the second month is when you're going to break even, and what they mean by that is you will have withdrawn more than $300,000 worth versus just straight up selling it. And as you can see here, with a large opening balance, your interest is going to increase a lot every day. So it looks like it's going up by about $25 a day here, doing the 75-25 plan. So obviously that means, so about a little more than $250 on day 10, $500 on day 20, and a month into it, you'll have actually increased your interest amount that you're withdrawing by almost $1,000, about $800 after 30 days of doing this. So as you can see, that makes a lot more sense to do the 25-75. So it might be better, honestly, if you have a loan. Let's do 100,000. Let's see what's going on here. Oh, I don't want that. Okay, so it's saying still the 49-day break-even point. Looks like it's going up by about $8 a day, starting at $18.50, and after a month, 30 days, you got an extra $200, almost $200, or no, sorry, almost $300 from 18 to 21 is almost $300 extra interest that you're generating every day. Let's see, after month 2, we've got about a $600 increase in the interest. Month 3, $900. Month 4, So by month 4, it's actually like a $1,400 increase over the initial what you're pulling out. So you started with only 1,800, and now at month 4 you're generating $3,200 a day. So that is almost double. Let's see month 5. Let's see if that has doubled in month 5. And it has. Almost exactly doubled by month 5 how much you're pulling out. So what that means is by the 5th month with a $100,000 initial loan, you are actually pulling out twice as much money every day as you would have just straight pulling out the $100,000. Assuming that they run for the same amount of time. So the more money that you have to start this thing with, the greater the effect of the 75-25, which makes a lot of sense through numbers. I could probably spend a lot of time sitting here like figuring out when, what's the dollar amount where below this, it's not, you're going to increase your payments by, a couple $100 over the course of 6 months. So, may not be worth it, but over this dollar amount, it probably would be worth it. But that would be just a lot of just putting random numbers in up here for the initial investment amount and kind of looking at the results and seeing what happens from there. So I can say, based off of that first one that we did with the $10,000 loan, the 75-25 thing, yes, you will make more money, granted a 6-month runtime, but, not really that much. You're looking at an extra $1,000 a month, averaged out, because it was about an extra $7,000 from that, over 6 months. So, whatever that is, 6,000 or an extra $1,080, somewhere in that ballpark, a month. That's extra money that you wouldn't have had. But it also carries additional risk because if Thorn goes down before that break-even point, I think that one was up in day 75 or something like that. So if Thorn only lasts for 2.5 months, you'll lose money, doing that. But anyway, I just wanted to get this information out there. Let's see. Let's go with 50,000. Let's just do one more for 50,000 and see what that looks like. Come on, man. All right, calculate. So 50,000 initial interest, 925. We'll call it. Let's see here, 30. So you've gone up $125 in the first month. $300 by month 2. And about $450 by month 3. So that's a daily increase, by the way, guys, over what you started with. You're looking at, you're giving up initially about $250 a day in interest. And by month 3, you were gaining $400. So it looks like right around probably about 50 days, I think, is when a $50,000 loan would start to kind of pay out more than you were initially giving up. Yeah, the 1159. So that's about right. So about 50 days for a $50,000 loan is when you'll start to see an actual gain in how much money you're pulling out every day. So you can use that maybe as like a little yardstick, or if you got less than 50, maybe just do the withdrawing 100%. Because an additional benefit to withdrawing 75 and reinvesting 25 is you're helping support the platform, right? You're giving them more money, which will increase the longevity. Now, obviously, you or me by ourselves is not going to make or break any particular platform, right? It's just, I'm sorry, we don't have that kind of money, right? If we were able to throw around millions and millions of dollars, then yeah, maybe we would. But that is not my case. It's not my story. And if you do have that kind of cash, something tells me you don't have to listen to me for crypto. So, but if enough people are doing this, and it makes sense for them individually to be doing this, whereas they're making more money, you know, it will help increase the longevity of the platform. So, let's look at here, okay, for the $50,000 loan, month 4, you pulled out $147,000 in interest doing this, right? And let's say doing this, like having a whole bunch of people do this, causes it to last an extra month over when it would have failed and ended without people doing this. So you got 150. So there's an extra $50,000. That's an extra principal of your original loan, right? That wouldn't have happened if a lot of people weren't doing this. If you had a $50,000 loan, and let's take a look at what it's looking like at month 4 with a $50,000 loan with no reinvestment. So month 4 was 120 days. Be down here somewhere. I just ran right past it. There we go. So 111,000 versus the 147,000 at month 4. So you got 37 grand less in your pocket on month 4 when it collapses versus, the extra, the month 5 income, which was, a couple $100,000, and it was an extra 47 grand, I think it was, that you get just from it being around longer. But, man, I think that's twice I've started saying so and then ended up going with but. I'm still rolling off of not a whole lot of sleep, guys. I tried to take a nap, and little man was not having that. So, anyway, for me, I would say the benchmark for me would be right here, right about 50 grand. For doing the withdraw 100% versus reinvesting 25%. Either way you can see, doing the long-term staking or lending or however you want to look at it will result in more money in your pocket versus just dumping it when you have that much of value in any particular coin. You can see right here versus right here, plus the total that you would have on this day, you got to add that in too. So it'd really be, 216,000, I think. Yeah. 216,000 versus 50 grand. Now that is, of course, assuming that it lasts as long as it's supposed to and you get your capital release back. But there's, the benefits of lending or, if it's going to be called long-term staking from now on, the benefits of that versus selling, that could be a whole hour-long video where we really break all that crap down. I'm just going to assume that you guys are all in the mindset of lending versus just dumping your ICO winnings when I'm making these videos. So I don't have to go over all that crap. And it looks like 50 grand is going to be my benchmark, where if I have more than that in a loan, I'm going to do the reinvest 25% plan versus just pulling everything out. Just because this makes a lot of sense. Now, I will probably go ahead and refine this a little bit more, probably see what it's looking like with, 25,000 initially invested. What the difference is? Because that's a huge difference, man. That's an extra $147,000. Granted that it runs for 6 months. So that actually kind of makes me think, what's this? So you guys are kind of getting like a live stream. Sometimes when I don't feel like just sitting there and doing the math myself, this is kind of like what I do to crunch numbers for me. Or when I know that I'm tired and I'm probably going to make a whole lot of math mistakes, I'll just go ahead and use a calculator. So let's see here. 129,000 minus 83,000. So there's an extra 40 grand over the course, $45,000 over the course of 6 months. That's worth it too. That's not bad. Okay, well now I'm curious, guys. Now I am curious. 20,000. So we've got 66. 103. So that's still almost 40 grand off the course of 6 months. So, I might go ahead and lower my benchmark there. If I've got less than 20 grand, maybe I just do the straight 100% withdrawal. And if I have more than 20 grand, I'll do the 75-25. Like, that's just for me personally. If you've seen enough numbers here, enough of an increase right there, when I'm just plugging in these numbers, for you to just believe that, the 25-75 is the better thing for you, then by all means do it. Again, this is not financial advice. That's not what this channel is all about. It's just about crunching numbers and getting information out there. So this one was kind of a sneak peek into my process. Sometimes this is what I do when I'm not really sure what price points I want to look for, like where I want to go with something. Sometimes I'll just start plugging in numbers and seeing what makes sense to me. So for me, I'm not going to lie. Well, let's take a second look at this $10,000 because I might have been completely way off base. So we've got 51 there with the reinvest versus 33. So that's actually almost 20 grand. That's $18,000 over the course of 6 months. That's averages out to an extra 3 grand a month. So 10,000, I think even at 10,000, that's worth it for me. To do the 25 reinvest. Let's see what happens with 5,000. Why not? So now what I'm doing is I'm going through and I'm looking for like the little, like the baby increase. And I'm just like, you know what? Over 6 months, I don't really want to risk. I don't care. Okay, so here we go. There's a $9,000 increase over the course of 6 months. So that's an extra $1,500 a month. Which is, granted, I'm not going to turn my nose down at an extra $1,500 a month, but for the amount of risk that you have in extending the time it takes for you to get $5,000 in interest pulled out into your pocket, I don't think, for me, that doesn't seem worth it to me, for an extra $1,500, carrot at the end of the stick there, it might not last that long. So, okay, so I'm going to go ahead and say for me, 10, well, let's look at $7,500. Let's see if that's similar. So we've got 38.8 minus 24.9, so 25. So that's still 13 grand over 6 months. That's a couple grand a month extra, averaged, if it makes it that far. So, I'm just going to keep it simple. I'm going to say, for me, $10,000 is going to be my point where if I have less than 10 grand, I'm probably just going to be pulling all the interest out every day. And if I have more than 10 grand, I'll do the 25-75 rule. Because either way, doing the 75-25 rule will increase how much money you make if it lasts to term. if the platform lasts a turn. So that is a very important distinction to make. If you don't think the platform is going to be around for, if you think a platform is going to last for about 4 months, maybe you just do the 100% interest. If you think it's only going to be around for a couple months, if that's what you believe, you would probably be better off just selling when it hits the price point that you're looking for versus lending. But so it's a lot. It's the ball is in your court with crypto. It's what are you comfortable risking for the greater reward. So for me, I think $10,000 is going to be my magic number where I switch from pulling out every day to only pulling out 75%. So that will do it. There is just a video, and this one again was longer than I anticipated. Like, damn. This is what happens when I start crunching numbers. I lose track of time. I get caught up. I was just gonna throw a couple of numbers in this little top box here and let you guys see the difference, and then I kind of got into it. So there's the numbers. If you want to play with it yourself, just do a Google search for HYIP money calculator, right? And all this is just a calculator. I don't think there's any product associated with this website. I mean, they do advertisements and shit, but what website doesn't these days? So it's it's a tool to use. Don't believe without a doubt. Like, don't put your faith completely in this number right here. Well, actually, specifically this number right here, the principal plus your interest. The interest, that's pretty good, pretty spot on for what you can expect as far as an increase in the interest that you're pulling out every day. But a lot of them, like this sounds too good to be true, right? Hang on, let's see here and do the. Not that particular one, because that particular one makes it sounds about right for daily interest payments. But this right here, this is why I don't believe in high yield interest payment calculators, because this is telling me if I put in $7,500 into a high yield platform and just reinvest everything every day, I'm gonna have almost 200 grand in 6 months, and that's just a little. That's just silly, man. That is ridiculous. So don't believe in that kind of stuff, but you can use these to a limited extent to play around with different percentages of reinvestment, which is obviously what I just spent the past half an hour doing. So that's all I got today. I think this is going to be my last video for today. I'm starting to get pretty tired, and I'm going to try and get some sleep while my little man is still also asleep. So I hope this was a little helpful. Maybe if people were curious what I was talking about with the 75-25 thing, this is it. This is what I was talking about. Crypto Profit. Hang on. Let's see if I can pull up his video, because he did an excellent video. Looks like I got another. Yeah, okay. I'll get to you in a second there, Kung Fu. Crypto Profit. This guy. He did a video on. No, it wasn't that guy. Damn. Maybe this guy? No, I don't think so. Nope. This guy. Where's his just video list? No? Okay, I don't think this is the guy either. Damn, dude. Where is this guy? I swear I had him before. So anyway, I'll take a look and I'll try and find this video so I can put a link down somewhere else for you guys. But a guy named Crypto Profit, and I guess he's not one of these guys. This looks like the guy, but all of these videos are old. And this video that I'm talking about came out, you know, a week or two ago, I think. Yeah, 'cause this is all just how to buy different ICOs. But a guy named Crypto Profit did a really good breakdown on reinvesting, and he had like spreadsheets and he had graphs and everything. He broke it down a lot better than I can. I think he just got better showmanship. But the idea and the math behind it is true to form, no matter where you get the info from. So if you're really, really interested, try and find this guy and try and find his video, and I'll try and find his video as well. He was featured in one of the Oracle's videos, so that's a good place to start looking if you really want to track this video down. Anyway, that's going to do it for me today. Stay hungry, guys. Have a good night, and I'll catch you guys tomorrow.